Welcome back to another video, guys. So I think this is quarantine video number 3. So the past 2 videos I also did in quarantine. I don't know if I said that, but the tow arms as well as the differential bushings, those were also done during this quarantine in California. So it's really hot in this car right now. I'm in the car because it's too windy outside to basically say anything for you guys to be able to hear me. This car is normally in the garage, but because of the car that's in the garage, the Miata, it's having a transmission issue and we're switching out the rack. So that one's been in there since yesterday because we don't have a tool to rebuild the other rack, basically. So we need to buy that today. My dad's probably gonna do that on his way home, but that's besides the point. Today, you guys clicked on this video because we are checking if we have low oil pressure at idle. So the gauge in the car honestly isn't as accurate as it should be, as it comes from the factory, and people normally switch it out for an aftermarket AEM gauge or something like that. So I need to hook up a mechanical gauge, which I actually picked up yesterday. I ordered it on Friday and it was here on Monday. So pretty speedy shipping because it's located in California and it was shipping to California. So I needed to pick up an oil pressure tester gauge, as well as an adapter fitting. Okay, so the oil pressure sending unit, which is on the bottom of the block, which sends the information to the gauge on the center console, that one has a very special fitting. I think it's called like a 1/8 BTST or BSTP, something like that. BTST sounds more right. So there's one company that actually makes the fitting that adapts 1/8 TSP, something like that, into the one for the Z. So I was able to pick that up for like $5 or something like that. That was also shipped locally from California, so that got here at the same time as the gauge did. They were ordered like 10 minutes apart, but the thing is they were in 2 different parts of the state. But they got here on the same day, so I'm not complaining. So I have it set up right here. Let me grab it for you guys. So I spent like $15 on this gauge. It was like the cheapest gauge I could find. It only reads to 100 PSI, but this car doesn't see more than, I mean, realistically it can hit 120, but you don't normally see more than 90 to 100. So this gauge will work perfectly for what I need it for. If not, I have a compression gauge in the garage that reads higher, and I could just swap this fitting over. So I already took the liberty of screwing on the adapter fitting, so it went on to the one that came on it. It was like a 1/8, and then I put on this one. Excuse my finger accident. I cut myself yesterday working on the 280Z. But basically just screw it on, maybe put some Teflon tape on there to avoid leaking and stuff. But basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to get under the car, unscrew the oil pressure sending unit. The car's off and it's been off since yesterday, so I'm not expecting there to be much oil that comes out of the socket, because all of it should be in the pan. However, there's always residual oil, so always keep a rag handy. So basically, I don't remember what the size of the socket is for the oil pressure sending unit. It's either a 14 or a 19 deep socket, so I just decided to cover all of my bases and get a Swedish nutcracker. This should be able to open it. Plus, I changed the unit, so it shouldn't be torqued down too high. So I'm going to start by jacking up the car, and then we'll go from there. Okay, and just like that, it's up in the air. So if memory serves, it is this one that is the pressure sending unit. Okay, thought I heard somebody behind me. Anyways, basically you just get a socket on there and then you just undo it. So you can unplug it here. Don't remember how, can't see, but there's probably a clip up there. And then you just yank it off, but let's unscrew this and then I will be right back. Okay, so one huge mess later, I was able to get it completely installed. I only threaded it in about as much as the old pressure sensor was in. Hopefully that'll solve, or hopefully that'll be sufficient. So I'm just gonna wipe it down real quick and then go get another car to jumpstart this one because the battery is completely shot, as well as the motor mounts. You know what, just for the sake of doing it, let's see what the voltage is on the battery. because it wasn't opening the doors like it was supposed to. It wasn't doing anything, so let's see. Oh yeah, definitely a dead battery. Look at that, 9 volts. Oh, but it started. All right. Now, time to go check for leaks. Low pressure light, low oil pressure light is normal because of that. No oil leaks, so that's a good thing. You guys can probably barely hear me. Oil is at around 60 psi. Dropped to 50. So now we're just gonna wait until it completely warms up and see where we're at. Okay, so coming back like 2 or 3 minutes later, 22 psi oil pressure, which is way lower than it should be. And it's dropping, so that means we're definitely looking at an oil starvation issue. Because it should be around 30. I'm gonna wait a little bit longer and see if the oil warms up even more, and we'll see from there. All right, so she's already up to temp, so let's give her like a couple of light revs. I don't want to piss off my neighbors. Unfortunately, I don't have somebody to watch the gauge for me in front of the car. So this is what I'm gonna have to do. Just wait for the oil to heat up a little bit, and then hopefully it'll be, I mean, this says operating temperature, but the car hasn't been driven, or it isn't currently driving. So it's gonna take it a little bit longer to get up to operating temperature. So I'm just gonna give it like 5 more minutes. Hopefully I don't run out of gas. It says I have 54 miles before it's empty, but we'll see. The light came on. I don't know if anybody noticed that, but the light came on when I started the car. Z problems, man. And I have that low tire pressure sensor light as well, because I just never replaced them when I got new wheels, or the previous owner didn't either, so there's that. And then what's it called, low oil pressures, because the gauge isn't hooked up, and the door's open, my seatbelt's not on, the handbrake's pulled, so there's that. Alright, so like normal driving conditions is probably around 2,000 to 3,000. So we're gonna hold it there for like maybe another 30 seconds to a minute and hope that it doesn't have any other issues. And see if the oil pressure equalizes. So I'll catch you guys once that's done. Alright, so just as I suspected, we're at under 15. We're looking at about 12 psi, 11 psi and dropping. So that means the oil gallery gaskets are indeed bad and they need to be replaced. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so that is a wrap for this video. Unfortunately, the Z does have low oil pressure, but fortunately I already knew that. So we're gonna go ahead and order new gaskets from Z1 or Concept Z. Hopefully get the new OEM like steel looking one, or not the new OEM ones, but their upgraded versions, which are like a steel composite or something. If I remember, I'll link it in the description or put a card up or something. Not sponsored, by the way. Z1, if you want to sponsor me, totally need some porting, manifold porting, intakes, exhaust, test pipes, anything you guys want to hook me up with, I'm down. But only have 3 subscribers, but you know how it is. Anyways, so what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm just going to put the car back together when I let it go ahead and cool down a little bit. Because if I take it out now, the oil is just going to be blazing hot, and I don't want to deal with that. So I'm just going to put a jack on the side and then just come back to it in a couple of hours. So I'll do that on my own time. Hopefully you guys found this video informative, and hopefully it's under like 5 to 10 minutes, because I don't want you guys to end up watching like a 15-minute video about, just checking if your car needs gallery gaskets. And just a heads up, I didn't have any dash lights or check engine lights. So I think there was this channel called Tuned Tunas, I believe. And they're located somewhere in NorCal, I think. I mean, just judging by the area that they live in. But I looked at their video and they didn't have a light either, but their gaskets were lifting. I think my gaskets are completely gone. So when I pull off the front timing cover, expect a video on that. Probably going to be a 30-minute video because I'll do like whole time lapse and everything of everything that I remove. Hopefully I won't have to clear out the condenser for the AC, because that's going to cost like $60, and I have to drive the car there to do it and then refill it, which is another $60. Or I think it's 40 to delete it and then 60 to put it back in. So that's something that I'm not looking forward to having to do if that ends up happening. But most people just move it out of the way and just take out the radiator. So fingers crossed that that's what I'll be able to do. But if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like on the video and make sure you subscribe for videos almost weekly, I think. I think I've gone 2 weeks uploading on Fridays or Thursdays. I can't remember. But if you guys did enjoy, make sure to leave a like and comment, like I said, and subscribe if you're new. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.